Vanakkam. Hello friends. In the previous episode, we saw the history of Valvilvori, one of the last 7 great patrons, the Kadayelu Vallalgal, and how he was defeated and killed in war by another chieftain, Kari. The Chera ruler of that time had aided Kari in this war, and in return, Kari had gifted Ori's Kolli hills to the Chera king. Vanparanar is one of the Sangam poets who has sung the praise of Valvilvori, and he has sung about another one of the 7 great patrons, Kandirakko Nalli. So, Vanparanar comes across as a lateral link poet. He has rendered 3 poems in the Purananuru in praise of Nalli, and in Purananuru 150, Vanparanar narrates how he and his relatives, on the brink of poverty and abject starvation, came to the Kandiram hills. And the verses go, Kudir Parundin Iram Sirahu Anna, Pariya Sidareen Palavu Mudal Porundi, Tannum Ullen, Piridu Pulam Padarnda en Uyangu Padar Vartatayum, Ulaivum Noki. With clothes that were torn like the ruffled feathers of a wet eagle, I lay there against a jackfruit tree, surrounded by my relatives, tired from going from one country to another. There came a hunter who wore on his handsome feet golden anklets that were flecked with blood that had come from his recent hunt of a herd of deer. Seeing that he was a noble man, I rose to greet him. He bade me to sit. He saw my poverty and despair, and without waiting for his young band of hunters who had lost their way in the forests and were yet to catch up with him, he lit a fire and cooked the choicest pieces of meat that looked like butter and gave them to us. We ate it, as it were the divine nectar itself, as it removed our extreme hunger. And then we drank from the cool waterfalls that were cascading down the mountain. As we were about to leave, he stopped me and said, Perudarku Ariya Veerusal Nankalam Piridondru Illai Kaatu Natem Yena. I am from the forest. I don't have anything precious to give. Marbir Punda Vayangukal Aram Madaisiri Munkai Kadamodu Eethanan. So saying, he removed the lustrous string of pearls around his neck and the golden thick bracelet with clasp that he wore on his forearms and gifted it to me. Ennado ena nadum sollan, yariro ena perum sollan. I asked him for his country and he would not say. I asked him what his name was and he did not reply. Pirar pirar கூற வழி கேட்டிசினே இரும்புனைந்து இயற்ற பெரும்பெயர் தோட்டி அம்மலை காக்கும் அணிநெடுங்குன்றின் பழிங்கு வகுத்தன்ன தீநீர் நழிமலை நாடன் நள்ளி அவன் எனவே. I heard from others on the path that he was Nalli, the protector of the famed great Toti mountain, with soaring mountain summits from which flew waterfalls with water as clear as marble. The Toti hills were located in the Nilgiri range. In the Sirvanatrupadai, which is one of the Pathupattu works, the 10 Idols, Nallur Nattatanar sings the praise of all the 7 chieftains, and while singing about Nalli, he says, Tuli Malai Poriyum Vaditunju Nedungotu Nadi Malai Nadan Nalli. He gives generously with his big hands to all those who come to him in need, Lord of the mountainous regions where the rains fall without fail. Well, there are no great legends associated with Nalli, and we understand from the poems sung by lateral link poets that he was contemporaneous with the other 7 great chieftains such as Adiyaman, Kari, Ori and Pari. Now coming to Malayaman Tirumudikari, who ruled over Kovalur, he was a celebrated chieftain eulogized in 4 Purananuru poems by the great Kapilar. Malayaman being an abridged form of Malayar Mahan, son of the mountains, the title indicated that he presided over the Malay Nadu, part of the Western Ghats, that during the Sangam times were known as Maladu. P.T. Srinivasa Iyengar, in his History of the Tamils from the earliest times to 600 AD, opines that titles such as Malayaman and Malayan indicated that Kari could have been a scion of the Chera family that dominated Malaynadu. The hilly regions of modern-day Tirukkoyilur is the region of the Malaynadu ruled by Tirumudikari, points out K.D. Tirunavukarasu in his The Chieftains of the Sangam Age. Kovalur was its headquarters, and Kovalur was a strategically important place located on the southern banks of the Pennai River. It lay on the route between the west coast to east coast via Arikamedu in an ancient Tamilagam, points out the noted historian R. Champaka Lakshmi. Mullur was the most important town in that country. The Mullur mountains were very steep and adjacent to it were very dense forests. One of the other towns in the vicinity was Kodungal, and that too was under the rule of Kari. This is revealed by Ammuvanar in an Ahananuru poem. Again, an Agam setting where the heroine has eloped with the hero and the heroine's mother cries in anguish. ஈன்று புறந்தந்த எம்மும் உள்ளாள் வான்தோய் இஞ்சி நன்னகர் புலம்ப. Go the lines. She did not think of me, the mother who gave birth to her and raised her. Oh, our fine house, with sky-high walls, feels lonely and deserted. The poem ends with the verses, துஞ்சா முழவின் கோவல் கோமான் நெடுந்தேர்காரி கொடுங்கால் முன்துறை பெண்ணையம் பேரியாற்று நுண் அரல் கடுக்கும் நெறியிரும் கதுப்பின் என் பேதைக்கு அரியா தேயத்து ஆற்றிய துணையே. May he be a partner to her in the paths on those unknown lands, my daughter with curly dark hair that resembles the fine sand on the shores of the huge beautiful Pennai River at Kodungal town ruled by the great king Kari. So here again a simile where the tresses of a heroine are compared to the fine sands on the river bank. Kapilar in Purananuru 121 sings, ஒரு திசை ஒருவனை உள்ளி நாற்றிசை பலரும் வருவர் பரிசில் மாக்கள் வரிசை அறிதலோ அரிதே பெரிதும் ஈதல் எளிதே மாவன் தோன்றல் அதனர்க்கு அறிந்தனை ஆயின் பொதுநோக்கு ஒழிமதி புலவர் மாட்டே. Thinking of one man, many come from all four directions. It is easy to give abundantly, but it is difficult to know who the deserving ones are. Great charitable Lord, since you understand, avoid judging all poets the same. Kapila's words indeed come across as a little odd. Was he irked that the king treated him on par with other bards in the court? Even odd still is a statement that he makes in the Purananuru poem 122, where he sings, கடல் கொளப்படா அது உடலுனர் ஊக்கார் கழல் புனை திருந்து அடிக்காரி நின் நாடே அழல் புறந்தருவோம் அந்தனர் அதுவே. O Kari, wearing warrior anklets on your perfect feet, the oceans will not take it and enemies will not seize it. Your land belongs to Brahmins who tend to ritual fires. That a poet would dare to tell his patron king that the king's lands belong to Vedic Brahmins indicates the changing dynamics of that time. Slowly, the incoming Vedic priesthood overtook the place of the humble bards in the king's court. Tolgapiyam defines the terms Andanar, Parpar, Arivar and the duties to be performed by each one of them. Well, it is beyond our scope to go into them here. But later on, all these words were appropriated by the Vedic Brahmins to denote themselves. Coming as they did towards the end of the Sangam age, Kapila's verse, Nin nade aral purantaruvum andanar aduve, your land belongs to Brahmins who tend to fire rituals, shows that the Vedic fire ritual had become entrenched in the king's court by then, and the priesthood seemed to enjoy clout with a ruler that increased manifold over time. And Kapilar continues, Viya Tiruvin viral keludane மூவருள் ஒருவன் துப்பு ஆகியர் என. If one of the three great kings with victorious armies and faultless wealth desires your partnership, they will praise you and send gifts. Such gifts belong to those who come in need praising your clan. There is nothing you can call your own except the arms of your wife of soft words and virtue like that of Arundhati that you can be proud of. வடமீன் புரையும் கற்பின் மடமொழி அறிவை தோள் அளவு அல்லதை நினது என இலை நீ பெருமிதத்தையே. The lady poet மாரோக்கத்து நப்பசலையார் sings a poem in praise of Tirumudikari. In the Purananuru poem 126, she sings, ஒன்னா யானை ஓடை பொன் கொண்டு பாணர் சென்னி பொலிய தையி வாடா தாமரை சூட்டிய விழுச்சீர் ஓடா பூட்கை உறவோன் மருக. O king of great strength, from the gold that you obtained from the headgear of the enemy's elephants, you made beautiful ornaments for the heads of your bards. You gifted them golden lotuses that would never fade. கங்குல் துயில் மடிந்தன்ன தூங்கிருள் இரும்பின் பறையிசை அருவி முள்ளூர் பொருண. O Lord of Mullur mountain that is surrounded by dense forests that are so dark like the sleepless nights, where waterfalls roar like the parai drums. புலன் அழுக்கு அற்ற அந்த நாளன் இறந்து சென் மாக்கட்கு இனி இடனின்றி பரந்த இசை நிற்க பாடினன். The Brahmin poet Kapila, he of pure knowledge, has sung about you and ensured that your fame will remain forever. There is no more place for bards like us to come to you and sing. பெண்ணையம் படப்பை நாடு கிழவோயே. O Lord of the country with the lovely Pennai river, we are like boats in the western ocean which are not allowed to ply when Cheran brings gold in his ships. Goaded by our poverty and attracted by your generosity, we have come here and have started to sing about your virtues. Through a simile, Nappasalayar seems to record how Kapila took over the court of King Kari and prevented bards like her from approaching their patron king. Just like when Chera's huge ships flying gold were out at sea, small boats were barred from sailing in the waters. Nattinai poem 170 by an unknown author records a victory of Kari over incoming Aryan rulers. And the verses go, ஆரியர் துவன்றிய பேரிசை முள்ளூர் பலருடன் கழித்த ஒள்வாள் மலையனது ஒருவேற்கு ஓடியாங்கு. The Aryans brought war to Mullur, but unable to stand against a single spear of the great Malayan, they retreated in haste. The poet Vadamavannakkan Perunchatanar sings a very beautiful poem celebrating the military might of Tirumudikari. In the Purananuru 125, he goes, பருத்தி பெண்டின் பணுவல் அன்ன நெருப்பு சினந்தணிந்த நின்தயங்கு கொழுங்குரை. He talks of how they came in happiness to Kari's court, the bards, and Kari gave them meat that was as succulent and soft as the cotton woven by the Paruthi Pendir, the cotton women, and gave them unlimited toddy to drink. He continues, the victor who slayed mountain-like elephants says that you gave him victory. The defeated man thinks that without Malayan with his strong spear, who came swiftly to the field to seize the land, he would have won easily. He praises you when he says that you are the one who made him lose. Greatness, for those who have your support, you are like Murugan on a towering mountain with clouds. உயர்மலை திருத்தகு சேயை நிற்பெற்றிசினோர்க்கே. Now Avayar records an important piece of history in the Puram poem 99, which she had rendered in praise of her patron king Adiyaman Neduman Anchi. மற்று நீ முரண்மிகு கோவலூர் நூறி நின் அரண் அடுத்திகிரி ஏந்திய தோழே goes the verse. You besieged the enemy territory of Kovalur, destroying its fortresses with your strong shoulders. Avayar records how Kovalur faced the wrath of Adiyaman. Wrath brought on maybe because of Kari slaying Ori in battle. Adiyaman also seemed to have been apprehensive about Kari's growing military power backed by the Cheras. Adiyaman went to war with Kari and Kari lost his Kovalur. This weakened his state considerably. Taking advantage of this, the then Chola ruler Killivalavan decided to attack Kari. The Chola army fought Kari's army, and in the ensuing battle, Kari was killed. Marokathu Nappasalayar comes across as a very important lateral link poet. Not only has she sung the praise of Kari, but she has rendered 2 Purananuru poems in praise of Killivalavan, the Chola king, who after having killed Kari in battle, went on to rout out the Chera capital of Karur. We have seen this in detail in episode 82 on Killivalavan, and I will leave the relevant link here. Killivalavan, after capturing Kari's Kovalur, had apparently taken as prisoners the 2 young sons of Tirumudikari. The great Chola king then decided to execute the children with an intent to put an end to the Malayar lineage. On hearing this, the poet Kovur Kirar was horrified and made haste towards Urayur, the Chola capital, with an intent of stopping Killivalavan from undertaking this disgraceful act. Killivalavan had ordered that the children be stamped upon by the royal elephant and put to death. And from Kovur Kirar's verses, we understand that he seemed to have reached the spot just in time to stop the execution. Acceding to his wise words, not only did Killivalavan spare the children's lives, but also took them under his protective care. Killivalavan seems to have reinstated one of Kari's sons as the ruler of Mullur. This is gleaned from another Puram poem sung on Malayaman Soliya Yenadi Thirukkannan by Marokathu Nappasalayar. K.D. Thirunavukkarasu mentions clearly in his Chieftains of the Sangam age that this Thirukkannan, the ruler of Mullur, was the son of Kari. Thus, Nappasalayar also comes across as an important linear link poet connecting 2 generations. Purananuru 174 goes, Anangudai avunar kanam kondu ஒழித்தன சேன் விளங்கு சிறப்பின் ஞாயிறு காணாது இருள் கண் கெடுத்த பருதி ஞாலத்து இடும்பை கொள் பருவரல் தீர கடுந்திரல் அஞ்சன உருவன் தந்து நிறுத்தாங்கு. When the fierce demons massed together and hid the rays of the splendid sun, darkness enveloped this round world and people suffered. Seeing this, the dark-hued lord, whose color resembled that of the collyrium, came and put back the sun in its place, ending the sorrow of the people. These verses record the advent of Puranic stories into Tamil culture at that early time, and this incident itself is given as a simile to record an important piece of history. During his rule, the Chola king Killivalavan seemed to have been temporarily displaced by his contemporary Pandya ruler from his capital city of Urayur, and he took asylum in the Mullur forest. Eventually, Killivalavan fought back and regained his kingdom, and he was assisted in this battle by the Mullur chieftain Malayaman Thirukkannan. This earned him the title Soliya Yenadi, which implies that he was the head of the armed forces of the Chola king. This piece of history is recorded by Nappasalayar in the following words in the same poem. அரசு இழந்து இருந்த அல்லல் காலை முரசு எழுந்து இறங்கும் முற்றமொடு கரை பொருது இறங்கு புனல் நெறிதரு மிகு பெருங்காவிரி மல்லல் நன்னாட்டு அல்லல் தீர பொய்யா நாவிற் கபிலன் பாடிய. Like Thirumal retrieving the stolen son at a difficult time when the Chola kingdom was lost, in keeping with the fame of your ancestors sung by Kapilar, whose tongue never lied. Here again, Nappasalayar refers to Kapilar singing about Kari. You fought beside the Chola king and helped reinstate the moon-like white parasol in its rightful place on the banks of the gushing Kaveri river, even as the enemies bet a hasty retreat. ஈண்டு செய் நல்வினை யாண்டு சென்று உனியர் உயர்ந்தோர் உலகத்து பெயர்ந்தனன் ஆகலின். O king of great fame, your famed ancestors have gone on to a higher world to enjoy the benefits of the good deeds that they performed while they were here. And you have now come to relieve the misery of those whose hearts are in pain and seek refuge in you. Thus sings Marokathu Nappasalayar. We will continue looking into the history of the famed chieftains of the Sangam age in the next episode. Vanakkam.